We're sorry we don't have more free basketball for you, but it is the Roll Jays podcast brought to you by Pepper Jack's Grill, Pyramid Contractors, and Sinovation. Casey, this one, as we always expected, Greg McDermott, Ed Cooley matchup to do. It goes longer than expected. We get extra basketball with one overtime. We're about a heartbeat away from a second overtime as well, but an absolutely incredible basketball game. A nail-biter of a finish in regulation, a nail-biter of a finish in overtime, but the Jays pull it off and get back on the right side of the snide, 86-83. Austin Swartz, nothing short of fantastic tonight. He finishes with 33 points and 8 of 12 from beyond the arc. He was amazing tonight.
So good. What a game. I mean, those games are, like if you lose, if you come out on the other end, they're brutal. I mean, they're just brutal. But when you come out on top, it's a lot of fun. Sorry, DK, our guy Derek's texting me, and he's jumping on with us. But yeah, I mean, we'll have to ask him what the vibe is in the locker room right now, because I can tell you, Jimmy, we talked about it. This is a must-win game. Like, you lose this one, it's a wrap. You have to win the Big East tournament. So there's a lot of different layers to this one in terms of of that aspect, but also just being in an overtime game. Like, this is one that you could, and I'm not saying you will, but you could look back at and go, okay, like this one, I don't want to say turned our season around, but was a catalyst for a run. And we're going to see. I mean, I know, like, if you're a Georgetown fan right now, you're distraught. Like, you had the game, to give up the three, you had the tip in. You thought the tip in was good, which it wasn't even close, but you thought it was good, and then you're heartbroken now.
Oh, that whole sideline thought it was in. Obviously, it was in, but that it was good. They counted. Clearly not the case. I mean,
it was giving me flashbacks, bro, of Marquette.
That's exactly
I don't know what year it was.
4 years ago, right?
Yeah. No, it was no. It was 7 years ago.
The one in Milwaukee, right?
No, the one here. When Hauser hit the three, and it wasn't any good.
Yeah,
but we didn't have the right angle,
and his foot was clearly on the line. They didn't mark that either.
It was a joke, and it kept us out of the NCAA tournament.
Yeah,
that we went to the NIT that year. So, there's clearly 0.1 seconds. Yeah, good call on that, Boog. There was clearly not 0.1 seconds left when the ball left his hand.
Yeah, I don't think that was clear at all. I think it was pretty evident that. Casey, I was texting you in real time. I was like, there's no way that's good, and you were on a delay. And you're like, yeah, absolutely not. Like, and that's in my listen, let me take my blue colored glasses off. My non-biased opinion. I didn't even think it was close. I was surprised they even went to the replay, and how long they were there at it. And
the thing is too, I couldn't hear it, but I don't know what, I believe they called it good. They call it good.
Yeah, the call on the court was good.
So they obviously had to have irrefutable evidence, Boog, to overturn a call. So it was clearly after the whistle there, after the time. So anyway, but either way, you go into overtime, and now you're and now you're sitting here, and Boog's at home crying, and we're not. So it's a good night. It's a good night to be a J.
A W regardless. Hey, but obviously, back to Austin Swartz for a minute, and a tip of the cap to Nick Graves tonight too, because those two guys were kind of the engines that could for Creighton tonight, with Nick Graves going 4 of 11 from the field, and 1 of 4 from 3, which wasn't great, but the effort that he put in away from the ball specifically was fantastic tonight. And he delivered when he was called upon. He also had 5 assists and grabbed 4 massive rebounds, one of which came in the overtime period as well. But it just felt like Georgetown continued to throw haymakers, and Creighton just continued to answer. And listen, that is something that this team has not done this season. And Creighton assistant coach Derek Kellogg joins us now. Perfect time, and DK, to tee that up. I had a question ready to go for you. Hey, first of all, congratulations on the win tonight, man.
Oh, man, I appreciate that. We were kind of in here saying, things even out, and after that Seton Hall game was about as low as I think, I felt as a as a coach in a while. I mean, I was part of some games way back when that kind of reminded me of that, and it's not a good feeling. And then tonight, I'm sure Georgetown feels kind of the same way because they did everything to win the game. We made some good plays to try to do the same, and we were fortunate enough to come out with a win in a game where either team could actually deserve to win.
Yeah, it's a good call. I mean, you're right. I mean, they really had the game won. I felt like until the last minute and a half, and we made some plays. But tell us before we get into like breaking it down. I was just telling Jimmy, being in the locker room after a win like this, in which DK, like you've been around this game for so long, you know it better than I do. This was a must-win game. Like if you lose this game, with all the metrics, it's probably a wrap. You got to win the Big East tournament, so you have that added pressure. But then to be this game at home, it's a late night, it's dollar beer night, it's overtime. I mean, how much fun is that to go in the locker room after that?
Well, I'll tell you what, it was exhausting. I think everybody was just like totally exhausted after the game, from the fans to the refs to both teams. Our guys played really hard. Obviously, there's a bunch of things we can get better at and work on, and we can talk about that tonight or at a different date. But when you're able to just gut out a win, we've had a tough run here with the road trip, and then St. John's is a physically imposing team. We're kind of beat up and injured a little bit. Jason Green's trying to battle those 7-footers with 1.5 arms or whatever you want to call it. So he's out there just battling, and so to gut out a win against the team, Georgetown, while they may not have the best record and the metrics aren't great, they're like they have players. I mean,
yes.
They got guys. And they're athletic. Them getting a kid, Big Vince, back, that makes them a whole different team. He brings physicality at the rim, and so they're a team that's going to win some games. They've, kind of like Providence a little bit. They've lost some tough games. They've been in a lot of games that maybe they didn't close out, and tonight was kind of a familiar look for them. They lost kind of down the stretch.
When we talk about the answering the call of toughness, that's something we've heard from you, from Lou, from Murph, from the head coach himself. Greg McDermott's talked about this team hasn't always answered that bell. They answered the bell tonight. What did you see from this group from a toughness standpoint that stood out to you personally?
Well, toughness, if you read Jay Billis's book, there is we came away with the win. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Mentally tough, physically tough, but I just feel like St. John's game, we just got physically they're just a little bit bigger and stronger and better. We were a little bit fatigued coming off the road, and I thought tonight, honestly, they're probably a little more athletic and bigger and stronger, and I thought we matched their physicality at different times. We can still get better rebounding the ball. I thought Karam came in and gave us a great lift from a physical standpoint of not letting us get kind of pushed around under the rim, and that maybe set the tone some. And then obviously, we threw in some shots that were just very, very Creighton-esque, put it that way. That just happens in this building and been going on for a while, and we were lucky to get away with the win, but one that I feel like we were kind of owed a little bit.
Do you feel like it was Karam that, because I was texting with Jimmy, and it felt like Georgetown was the more physical team in the first half, and I felt like in the second half we were, I don't know if maybe more physical, but we at least matched their physicality, and we didn't get pushed around. And do you think he was a catalyst for that, or was it just kind of go in the locker room, reset your jaw at halftime, and let's roll?
That's kind of a tough question to answer. I'm not sure if it was that easy and that simple. Even though I thought we matched their physicality, they still were like a little bigger and stronger around the rim and maybe a little more athletic. So sometimes we're not going to win the physicality battle down low. We just want to battle. Yeah. And then, we're hoping that we can win the skill game.
Sure.
And play the way we play, move the basketball, play with free flowing. But, it goes hand in hand. Everybody does these analytics, and Casey's, he's done this his whole career. You can't really have the analytics work for you. They work together, even though people like to separate them. Like, you can't have a great offense if you don't stop anybody. Then you're always going against a set defense.
Yes.
There's Len Gordy stopping by, and then you can't really have a great defense if they're always scoring, or vice versa if you're turning the ball over. So they work hand in hand. So I thought our offense really carried us tonight. Our defense has carried us at different times, and now if we can get a little more balanced, that would be great. It'd be would keep us up where we're supposed to be.
Hey, Austin Swartz is pretty good at basketball, huh?
He has a good gift. He can really score the basketball. There's natural scores. He's not been on every game, but I think since he's gotten the opportunity, he's obviously taken advantage of it and playing really well. And tonight was, he got on a run, kind of like Jimmie did for us a few times last year, where every time they raise up and shoot, you think it's going in. And so, We were pretty proud of him where he's, kind of started and how he worked his way into the lineup and has really taken the bull by the horns, as we would say, right?
And another guy that I felt was really good tonight was Nick. And I love stories. I love just like, the arc of a season.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Like the arc of a season, because it's just, it's waves, and you have to ride some of that as a player. And not that I would know that part of it, DK. I know you were an excellent player, but I wouldn't know that part. But as a player, like, I think you could speak to this. It's like you've got to fight through adversity. And I just watching him, and he's still getting, fans are still unhappy with his production, which is bonkers to me. But he's just fought through a lot of this stuff, and now you're seeing it like kind of on the court. He's producing. He looks so much more comfortable, and it looks like the game has slowed down for him. Can you talk about Nick a little bit and just what he means to this team?
Well, from a standpoint of the team aspect of it, it's nice that like we've had different guys step up at different junctures throughout the season. Nick had 17 at Marquette in the first half, and then Blake was great against Villanova. Austin's done his thing, Josh. So different guys have given us a lift at different times, and that's kind of how it goes when you're trying, to give everybody some minutes and see who's got it going that night. And Nick's getting more comfortable. I think defensively, when he locks in defensively, his offense is much better. Where he's concentrating on the defensive end of the floor and pushing tempo, all of a sudden he's making shots and making plays. I think players have it confused sometimes. It's hard to get them to say, you know what, don't worry about that, and that happens. And so Nick is one of those guys, I think, concentrate on locking up on defense, getting through your ball screens, and then play with pace on offense. And I think good things have happened, and he's got more comfortable in that role.
Is that hard, DK? Because you're like, and again, I know some of the guys you've worked for, and you were a head coach. Like, this program offense tends to get the most headlines. Coach Mack, Coach Huss are known as the offensive gurus, and being in that locker room, I know how much time we spend on offense.
Right.
But the old adage is let your defense turn into offense. It seems like over the years we've been more of, if we're good offensively, we're really good defensively too.
Right.
So is that hard, like, for a guy like Nick to turn it on and off, or to like reverse that mentality? Like, I just want you to dig more into that, because I think it's fascinating what you're saying.
Well, it is one of those things, Creighton, and even myself coming from kind of the East Coast and not knowing a ton about Creighton, but I did know that. Well, we played against Creighton when I was at UMass, and we got worked by the offense. So
we weren't going to bring the
offense. I knew the offense was kind of a great thing, but we do spend a lot of time on the defensive end of the floor, because we feel like if we can stop teams, our offense is that much better. And, we didn't do a good enough job of stopping them tonight. They scored at 16 of 18 or whatever it was in the second half. But it was one of those games where we were also scoring, so you didn't want to break the flow. But I think if we're going to make a move in the Big East Conference, which we'd like to, obviously, we're going to have to improve and get a little more physical on the defensive. And, without Ryan back there and guys a little banged up, we're going to have to mix up defenses. We tried tonight. We trapped a bunch of ball screens, and they hurt us some. We jumped into a zone. Yeah. To man the zone, whatever you want to call it, a few times, and that didn't work out perfect, but at least maybe it got them off balance some, or gave our guys a break on the defensive end of the floor.
I have to ask about the zone. I was going to bring it up because we know that every time Mac and Ed Cooley get in the same building together, there's just a little bit of wrinkles sprinkled in here or there.
Right.
That makes it a little different. I think I can count on one hand how many times I've seen Creighton drop into a zone in my lifetime. Obviously, that was something we saw tonight. Did it feel weird on the coaching sideline just to see that happen?
Well, I think they scored 16 to 17 or 14 to 16, whatever it was, whether it was on the first basket or the second. So anything was probably going to be as good as what was going on. And, we just wanted to mix it up a little bit, give them a different look. And, I do feel moving forward as the games are getting more physical, I don't want to talk about the officials, but I think they're letting the games be a little more physical as the season goes on. You watch the video at the beginning of the year, and then as the year goes on, it's just a natural progression. The games get a little more physical, and that's honestly not our strong suit. We're scrappy, but we're not going to physically impose our will on you. So we're going to have to mix up some stuff, and you might see some more zone. You might see some 1-3-1. You might see zone to man to zone, but definitely some different looks. to see if we can keep teams off balance a little bit so that our offense can get cranked up.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was just like you said, just keep teams off balance. Don't let them know, what's coming. And Jimmy alluded to it. I love the matchup between Mac and Coach Cooley. I just think it's fun. Did you have anybody as a head coach that you were close with that you competed against that was not necessarily like it kind of not means more, but it's just a little more fun?
Well, Rhodey was our rival back then, Rhode Island, when I was head coach, and we all know who was coaching there. So we'll save that for another conversation. I mean, we battled as players, and then we battled as coaches. I mean, there was him and I are still good friends, but it was fun kind of coaching against Danny.
Yeah,
before he was doing the 2 rings thing, you know what I mean? No, it's all good fun.
He'll be in Omaha before too long. So I'm surprised we didn't save dollar beer night. But I did want to ask one basketball question besides that one. Was 6 turnovers tonight, and it's an overtime game. From your guards, I mean, you look at it. This is the kind of game where if you can get this kind of consistent guard play and low turnovers, you're going to be in any game.
Well, Casey, our guys had 85 points between the 3 of them. I'm sure. If we can get that every game, I think we're going to do pretty well.
That's also a good call. But as far as ball control, right. It's creeped up on us in some games where it's been an issue. Yeah. I just felt like we didn't turn it over. We hit our free throws. Like those are the little things that you have to do if you're going to win games like this.
Well, Coach Mack, as you know, really prides himself on a lot of the little things that make the difference in the games, and we executed some, and we actually messed up some tonight. So I think that there's a good learning curve here where we can pick up some tips. We missed a few rotations on our ball screen traps. We did a great job of executing the side out late when they were looking for a 3. So there were definitely some positives, but when you win, you err on the side of all the positives. When you lose, you do the negatives. And I think Mac does a great job of being process orientated. Like when we lost at Seton Hall, we did most of the things we wanted to do. When we won at Villanova, we were good. St. John's, we didn't totally execute some of the stuff that we were trying to do. So that was try to fix the process a little bit. And then coming into tonight, we won the game, but there's also a few things that we need to clean up and make sure if we get in those situations again that we execute.
Derek, obviously we'll let you get out of here. It's late, but I got to ask about Fedor. I mean, he's a guy that his defense has been questioned. I mean, it's been brought up publicly. I think he's kind of talked about it a little bit. He's the guy that has that stop at the end of overtime tonight. What did it mean for you guys as a coaching staff to see him make that defensive stop at the end of the game?
Well, one is I don't think any coach wants to see kids, get talked about either in the media or through social media or whatever it is, which is, more normal now than it's ever been. We had rotary phones and the cell phone wasn't invented yet when Casey played, but except when I played, So, it's just hard on these guys if they actually watch and listen to that stuff. And for him to come up with a big stop, kind of, it's just nice for him to be able to feel like he was part of a win tonight versus, you lose the game and everybody says the guy took you right one time or whatever it may be. So, the guys are trying. I mean, we don't necessarily have, Ryan or Baylor or anybody like that, but I think as a collective unit, those guys are playing hard. They're trying, and we just got to do a better job in some areas and continue to improve in others.
Did you think that I was sorry, Jim? I know I was done. Did you think that tip in was good live?
No.
Okay.
I didn't either. I texted you.
I actually was just sitting there like, please don't be good.
There's some social media warriors in the comments right now that disagree with you, but we'll leave that for another day. That's great to see Coach Derek Kellogg. Coach, we appreciate it.
Thanks, fellas. Thank you. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, that's great to see Coach Derek Kellogg joining us here in the Sinovation Coach's Corner tonight. If you want great in-looking indoor or outdoor great-looking signage, check out OmahaSignsAndWraps.com tonight. Casey, obviously, it's much later where you are than where I am.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all right. I'm feeling city brotherly love tonight.
We still got some more stuff to unpack from this game, and I brought up Fedor specifically because we talked about it at the end of the St. John's game, and I'm right there. I was kind of expecting DK to get a little more overzealous about it, but I mean, I thought it was fantastic to see him in that situation where we talked about it last game, where there was a backdoor cut where he typically turns his head and loses his guy, but he stayed focused and dialed in. And I also want to get back to Karam for a second because we talked to anybody that didn't join us in the halftime show. We talked specifically about Alan Huss taking him aside and showing him how to post up specifically from a strong standpoint. And then he did it
defensively,
and then he did it several times in the second half where he just out-physicaled whoever was in front of him, got a couple key rebounds or even a couple key stops. And it's nice to see those in-game adjustments pay off later in the game.
Oh, for sure. I think for him, I don't know how many minutes he played, probably 15, somewhere between 15 and 20. But
18.
Yeah, 18.
Yeah.
He had 6 points tonight, at least one rebound. Like, it's a good game, and I think when you look at it from the perspective of, we've talked, like, I personally think that Josh Dix is our most important player because, and tonight was probably, again, it's hard to evaluate individual defensive performances live. It's much easier when you can watch it back, but live, it felt like this was and I'm going to say worse. I hate that it sounds negative, but this is probably his worst defensive performance. Okay. I didn't think it was terrible by any means, just compared to what he's been. He's been an all-league defender. So, so to have that, plus you didn't have Jason for over half of the first half.
Yeah, and Jason Green only played 21 minutes tonight. And it was like, and this is no slight to him, it was foul trouble centric, basically had no impact on this game.
That you heard it here first, folks. Jimmy Allen says we don't need Jason Green. No, I'm kidding.
No. I just mean because of his limitations for being able to be out on the court.
Yeah, no. I'm messing with you. But I think
he was very, very important for the 21 minutes he was in there. He
definitely
really do a lot.
And he had 4 fouls, right? But like, you look at this game. It was a 45-minute game, and Jason played 21 minutes, and we won. Like, now people can say, well, Georgetown is much better than their record. And I know that that's easy to say. I know that it's cliche. I'm just telling you, there's a lot of talent there on that team. And there's some matchups for us that are troublesome. So to be able to win that game, I think being at home obviously was a huge help because on the road, that one's going to be tough to pull out. But you got to have a lot of confidence right now winning that game with only having him play, those 21 minutes. So, look, Josh Dix, Z-Man, like I love Josh. I think he's phenomenal. I just felt like tonight.
I want to touch on that for a quick second because I'm with you. I think tonight was one of his, if not his worst defensive performance of the season. I don't even think it's close. I think tonight was his worst defensive performance of the season. He played 42 minutes of a 45-minute game.
Yeah.
His defense was a little bit lacking. He played 42 minutes in this game and had 0 personal fouls.
It's amazing.
Almost impossible that is to do. I mean, the guy's he's finally hitting his stride here, and it's really nice to see.
And look, sometimes there's really no better way to say what we're trying to say, in that it's not we're crushing Josh as much as it is.
Not at all.
The player he was guarding scored more than we're used to seeing.
Yeah,
I think maybe that's the better way to say it.
Sure.
And so, but his impact was, unquestionable. And the way he played tonight, he still had 15 points, 3 rebounds. Like, I just think when you can win a game like this with his player or his matchup scoring more than we're used to seeing, you've got to take that and be extremely happy. To have 6 turnovers tonight, really, if you're
in an overtime game,
if you're nitpicking, the only thing you can really go to tonight is the rebounding battle, and that's been our Achilles heel the whole year. But
again, you did it with Jason Green playing 21 minutes in a 45-minute game.
I don't think. It's a great call.
As soon as 0 came off the floor, they went right at the paint every single possession, whether they were dribble penetration or they were attacking the rim. It was all in the paint. And listen, I know it went into overtime and it was a close game, closer than a lot of people wanted it to be for Dollar Beer Night. I think Karam Konan absolutely answered the bell tonight. I think he really did. And I know we already talked about it, but I was just really blown away with a guy who's come in and looked lost at times. Maybe not lost, but like clearly struggling to catch up to the speed of the game. Finally just went, okay, I'll just start throwing punches back. And not literally, but figuratively. And I thought it was a great performance for him tonight. He clearly has a ways to go. There's still clearly a drop off at the 5 when Jason Green leaves the floor, but it's progressively getting better. And I don't know if you've been able to say that for the last couple of years.
No, and it's just interesting too, because if you're Mac, this gives you a little bit of confidence of like, all right, like I have some options. And I thought it was really interesting that he went to Karam first. And I
still think it's interesting, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, you can draw conclusions, and it's natural to do that. Because I don't know how you can make the argument. I mean, because I just don't know how you can make the argument that it was like a matchup thing. So we'd have to hear from him on that.
I know nobody wants to hear this, and their kids portion of it is gone by the wayside for several different reasons at this point. But like, I don't know if you can put a value on how healthy Owen Freeman is, because he's clearly not the same player. And I'm not here to make excuses. I'm not a member of the Owen Freeman fan club or anything like that. I have no reason to give him any kind of grace for the shortcomings that he's had, for the expectations he had coming in here. But I think it's clear that something's off or wrong. And I don't know if he's re-injured it or just not gotten past the injury or what it may be. I mean, it could be something completely different. I just don't think that he is clearly physically where he should have been at the start of the season to expect the output we expected from him.
Yeah. And I don't know.
That's no coaches have told us anything or anything like that. I want to be very clear about that. That's just the eye test.
His basket tonight was huge. I thought it was great to see the emotion. It was great to see him battle down there, get the rebound, and go back up. I love that.
He had 2 pretty big rebounds. I mean, early in this game, he grabbed 2 pretty important boards.
It just stinks because, we're trying to do this, right, and have some fun, doing a podcast, give people some perspective on the game.
Well, we're obviously very intelligent human beings that know ball. I think that's the most important thing to take away from this podcast.
Yeah, I think you are for sure.
Yeah, obviously. But probably didn't even need to say it.
Yeah, but it's like, you're also trying to be fair, trying to be honest with what you're seeing. Like, I'm not stupid. You're borderline. But like the people that are watching the game and watching our show. I mean, if people are watching our show, you got to question, how smart are you? But no,
many are asking.
But the people that are watching the show, they know they're watching the same thing we are, and it is hard because you want him to be better. You one for the team, but also for himself, because you get invested as a fan of like, he's wearing a Creighton jersey, so you're rooting for him.
Well, I mean, like when we interviewed him on this show, he talked about his expectations for this season and what like the reason he wanted to come to Creighton was for postseason aspirations.
Yeah.
Well, listen, you're gonna have to battle for it every night from here on out. So obviously, and listen, if Owen Freeman is back to Owen Freeman from 2 years ago in Iowa City, Creighton's going to be in pretty good shape. But the problem is I just don't think he's physically going to be there by the time March gets here.
Yeah, and it's obviously it's not something that we're ever going to find out until
root for. Yeah, and I don't want to sound like I'm hoping he's not.
No. I don't take that at all. I don't take that at all. I think it's just like it stinks that even if you do find out he's still hurt, whatever, like, which I think there is probably some of that. You can just the way he's moving physically doesn't look super smooth to me. Again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a trainer. I just watch a lot of basketball. That could be like a good commercial, by the way.
There you go. You did stay at Holiday Inn Express last night.
Yeah. But
Holiday Inn Express would like to sponsor this podcast. Please let us know.
But no, like you want him to be better, and certainly if he was the Owen Freeman of old, we're a better team. But all that said, if you turn that page and you say, okay, this is what it is, knowing that on any given night you can get some good minutes from Karam. You don't ever want Jason to get in foul trouble. And it's been weird. I felt like watching games, like some of it we are fouling. Like I don't think that Creighton's infallible and like never fouls. But it is interesting to see like our guys don't get the same level of like respect on calls anymore. And that's fine. Like we've it's just I think some of it is not having the big fella back there. That
maybe the Bills are coming due a little bit.
Yeah, and I think we're having to be a little bit more physical at as guards, because you're trying to keep them out of the lane because you don't have the rim protector.
Yeah, you can't let them get downhill at your guys. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but yeah, that part of it's been interesting because we're giving up. I don't know. I have to look at the stats after this game clears, but I'd like to see how many more points we're giving up from the free throw line than we have in the past, because my guess is it's statistically, impactful. And so, it's something where, like, I know Coach, like, I know he's going to continue to work on it, playing with your hands out. I think we do a great job around the rim. Jason is phenomenal at, elevating and keeping his hands back. I think all those things are still there because they work on them every day.
Yeah.
It just feels like we're not getting the benefit.
It's different. I mean, they're not running true drop coverage. I mean, almost ever at this point. I mean, they're hard.
They're still in drop quite a bit, but it looks so different to you because instead of the big fella being able to be way further back, Jason has to be a little bit higher up on the point of attack. It's just not as effective.
Yeah. And think about everything we just, and listen, I think everything we just said about the 5 position tonight was true. Georgetown still scored 50 points in the paint. So, take all that into consideration. You still gave up 50 inside the paint. That's not going to win you a lot of basketball. Obviously, Creighton wins tonight, but that's something that's got to be addressed, obviously.
The thing is, though, Jimmy, like they shot for the game, they shot 44% from 3. I'm more surprised that they weren't trying to shoot more threes. And yes, do I think we were good defensively at guarding the 3-point line? I do. I thought we actually were really good in that area. But it wasn't like we completely shut them down from the 3-point line. I mean, they shot 44%. We shot 40%. We shot 33 of them.
Yeah.
And so just, again, that's all analytics. That's numbers. Like, play the numbers out and look at your points per possession on a 3-point attempt versus a 2-point attempt. It's going to be higher on a 3-point attempt.
Didn't hurt that every time number 1 touched the ball, it just kind of happened to go through the net no matter what he did tonight. I mean, he was I know we've talked about a bunch of guys tonight. I got to tip my cap a couple more times to Austin Swartz because he was fantastic in every sense of the way.
So good.
Yeah,
I would tell people this. Yeah, and this really isn't like a plug for our show, kind of is, but we did have Austin on. So, like, if you haven't watched the Austin Swartz, I'm just telling you, if you're just watching him on the court and you want a perspective of who he is as a person, find the interview we did, back in the summer, and he's phenomenal. Like, just love having him here, and to see the production that he's given us ever since he's really been playing some more minutes. You just can't help but be ecstatic for that kid because he's so fun to watch.
Yeah, he's been electric. That feels like a perfect way to wrap it up. And if you're looking for that podcast, you can find it on Big East Energy Network's YouTube page. Head over, like and subscribe. Join the community, over 20,000 strong Big East men's basketball, just basketball fans in general. If you're a hoop head, BigEastEnergy.com is the place to be. This has been the Roll Jays podcast, brought to you by Pepper Jack's Grill, Pyramid Contractors, and Sinovation. Creighton, quick turnaround, back on the road. We'll be back with you at halftime of that game, and then another post-game show with another Creighton assistant coach. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.